today I'm going to tell you guys about the fish and the sharks and everything we have in here. We have a lot to see, so I'll point out what I can when it goes underneath us. But we have 18 fully grown sharks in here, over 5,000 fish, big green sea turtle, a 6-foot long moray eagle, 2 really big sawfish as well. Now most of the sharks we're going to see are a type called sand tigers. 12 of 18 are sand tigers, and then we have 3 nurse sharks, which are all nocturnal, so you probably won't see them. We also have 2 sandbar sharks and a black tip reef. They're a lot smaller, but also a lot faster, so they'll be kind of hard to catch. Most of the fish right now, though, are yellowtail snappers, probably one of our biggest populations of schooling fish. Now up here, everything's going to look a lot different from the tunnel, because up here you get the actual size. So if you don't ride the boat and you just go through the tunnel, you're actually seeing everything a lot smaller than it actually is. It's curved, so it shrinks it by about 20%. So if you see a 10-foot shark, down there it'd be like 8 feet long, 8.5. But up here you're going to see everything's actual size. Makes a big difference though. You see things like our 15-foot long sawfish, our 10-foot long sharks. But everything else in here that's not moving around is going to be man-made. So that's things like the coral, the shipwrecks that we'll see. Actually, our water. We take our water from Gatlinburg's freshwater system, we filter it out here at the aquarium, and we add in things like calcium, magnesium, and a lot of salt. So it has the same composition as water from the ocean. It's just not actually from the ocean. And then our coral is man-made. It's mostly fiberglass and plaster. It's all marine-safe materials. You couldn't use real coral. It takes a long time to grow. It's hard to grow. It's very endangered, and it's very brittle. So if our divers bump into it, it break off instantly and die. We have divers in here just about every day. Plus our sea turtle, she gets really close to the wall. In the back, you can kind of see him. That's our 15-foot long sawfish, Diesel. He's the longest fish we have here. Usually if you're on the boat, we don't get to see him too much because he avoids the boat. And if you guys have been through the tunnel, you probably got a good look at him. But we should see our female Lucy in a little bit. She likes the boat pretty good, so we should get a good look at her. During the week, this is a really big feeding spot. Our fish will all gather here. There's several vents inside the pool where they'll pump out food for the fish. So squid, shredded lettuce, things like that. A lot of our fish and a lot of fish species in general actually eat other fish. That's what the main part of their diet consists of. But most of our fish here are herbivores, so they eat a lot of lettuce, a lot of bok choy, a lot of cabbage, things like that. And I will point out, just like I mentioned about the coral, the shipwreck back here is all entirely artificial. So it's made of marine-safe materials. It's stuff that's not going to break down, it's not going to rot and get in the water and be harmful to the fish. And aside from being a decoration, it's also really important. So it provides a hiding spot for the fish. It's a good spot to lay eggs. Our nurse sharks actually sleep behind it. It provides a dark space for them to sleep during the day. And once we see the other half, we're actually going to get to see our nursery where the smaller baby fish are. So that's not this one, but it's going to be the front half. We'll get to that towards the end. Now there's this pretty fish there. That's one of our angelfish. They have the long, stringy fins on top and bottom. I was going to say tentacles, but...
what they look like.
Alright, it looks like she's over there, so hopefully she doesn't swim away. We'll get a really up-close look at our female sawfish. And when you see her, pay really close attention and take pictures if you want. They're very endangered animals. So the fact that we still have them here in captivity for people to see is really cool. We can actually get an up-close look at them before they are extinct. So there's her nose. We'll start to see more. Her sheet is actually the heaviest fish here. She is almost 600 pounds, and they are a species of fish. They're not a saw shark or any type of shark. They're more like a long, stretched out stingray. She'll actually use that saw part on her nose to dig through the sand. She'll find small snails, shellfish, crustaceans, pretty much anything that lives in a shell, and that's what she'll eat. The teeth on her nose aren't actually teeth. They're actually made of the same stuff as your fingernails, called keratin. So the pieces sticking off that look like teeth, it's kind of like a long fingernail. But she'll use that to find her food. Then she vacuums it into her mouth, and her mouth has no teeth in it at all. She actually has these really hard plates, and she smashes up her food with that, and then she gets the meat out of the shell. And then right behind her eyes, I'm not sure if they're too visible, right behind her eyes are these two openings. You'll see them opening, those are her spiracles, that's where she'll draw in water. Then she'll pump it out through her gills, which are on the bottom. So it's because of a lot of these traits and characteristics that make these animals so closely related to stingrays. But the main reason we have them here is because they are endangered. They'll be gone within 15 to 20 years. There are only a couple thousand of these fish left in the world. They used to be very, very plentiful in the oceans, especially, they were native to the entire eastern coast. They used to be very plentiful around Florida especially. It's been 20, 25 years since there's been a sighting. The main reason they're disappearing though is people fish them out of the water. They actually cut the saw part of their nose off, and they toss the fish back in the water. So they can't survive without that nose, and it has no value at all. It's not tooth, bone, it's not meat, it's nothing that we can use or benefit from. So we have them here to hopefully reproduce. They're related to rays. We have a lot of rays here, so I hope that maybe whatever we're doing to get our rays to breed so much, we can do with those sawfish. But I've not had any luck yet. It's been a little over 18 years. Alright, so in just a bit we're going to see our nursery. But if you look under here, we're going to see some of our younger fish. So it looks like a lot of these are yellowtail snapper babies. But you might notice these fish over here, they're yellow with the two black stripes on their face. Kind of in that corner, there's a couple scattered. Those are called pork fish. They're called that because they make us sound like a pig underwater. So if you were down there and you heard them arguing, it'd sound like a pig grunting back and forth to each other. And then the snappers get their name because they make a snapping sound. We have fish called grunts that make a grunting sound. So they're all, they're interesting fish, but the people that named them weren't very creative. So this is the nursery I mentioned. It's much bigger than the other half. It has different levels inside where the fish can go and find a dark spot and lay their eggs. So our really young fish that have just been born are inside here. The bigger fish can't get inside here, the tarpons can't, the sharks can't. So it's a nursery, it's also a really good hiding spot. So we think it's kind of funny that our fish want to hide from the sharks. That's only because we know our sharks are not hungry at all. But the fish don't know that, so they're very, very scared of the sharks. But our sharks are fed really, really well. They're nowhere near hungry enough to really even consider eating these fish. These fish taste really bad compared to what they eat. They eat very expensive, nice seafood. Things like fillets of tuna, mahi-mahi, squid, herring, shrimp, bonito. It's like stuff that we would order in a seafood restaurant. And they're actually just fed the meat. They're not even fed the whole animal. They're just fed the meat from whatever animal they're eating that day. Our sharks are fed twice a week, and they're fed way more than they would actually eat in the ocean, so they are overfed. And here we have a sand tiger on the bottom, and it looks like she is almost asleep. I think she's moving a little too much to really be asleep. But sharks like that have to move their entire life. So that sand tiger and that sand tiger, they've got to move their entire life. If they're still for too long, they're actually going to drown. So even while they're asleep, their tail's still barely going back and forth. They've actually got a sonar, keeps them from bumping into stuff, so their sonar is still active. That's just an interesting fact. Not all sharks have to swim, but the bigger sharks like that do. We have our nurse sharks. They're a species called carpet sharks, which just means they can land